I know you guys have heard about it in the news. I've heard about it as well. We're talking about monkeypox today. This is important to talk about because even as of right now, we're hearing of more what we call presumptive cases in the United States, and certainly we've been hearing about cases. Is this, do I need to be concerned? First thing I want to say, however, is a couple of things that hopefully will, I think to some degree, be reassuring or at least be helpful. Monkeypox is not as contagious as COVID. I think it's important to say that. COVID is spread by respiratory droplets, yes, but it's also airborne, spread by sort of airborne, right? Monkeypox is not. Okay, I'll tell you about how it's spread and all of that. Also, it's important to keep in mind that, gosh, there's something that, sorry, there's a hair, little piece of fuzz, sorry. There is a vaccine that we have against monkeypox, although it's not used widespread. I'll talk about that, but you may not have known there is a vaccine. So that's important to keep in mind. And also keep in mind, too, that most people do have what we call mild to I'd say perhaps maybe moderate symptoms and tend to recover. Yes, for some people, monkeypox is fatal. It is reported that in Africa, I believe the statistic, I've got my statistics here, in Africa, as many as 1 in 10 people die from monkeypox. Okay, but that does not seem to be the case across the board. So let's talk about monkeypox. Let's talk about what you need to know. Let's talk about all this kind of good stuff and sort of see, what's going on here. Okay. Alrighty. So first of all, you should know, and hi, it's good to see you guys. I'm Dr. Jen. It's been a little while, practicing family physician, on-air health expert, and video creator. Now, the first thing I need to say, guys, is that as with any new virus, and by the way, this is not a new virus. Okay. Monkeypox is caused by the monkeypox virus. It is a viral disease like COVID is caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus. It's caused by a virus. Anytime something like this happens, and especially in recent years, there's a lot of conspiracies that start popping up. First thing I need you to do is to be very diligent and to be watchful and thoughtful about what you believe and where you're reading information from, because you know what happens. People will start saying that this is a conspiracy or this or that. Same things that we went through with COVID and are still going through. Please keep this in mind. Be aware and be smarter than the sort of myths and conspiracy theories that we are already seeing and are bound to see. All right, so monkeypox is not a new condition. It was actually discovered in 1958 when basically there were 2 outbreaks of a pox-like disease occurred in colonies of monkeys that were actually kept for research purposes. So once again, this is not a new virus. It's not a new condition. It was discovered in 1958, and that was in animals. The first human case occurred around 1970 in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Typically, we see monkeypox in Africa. It is seen in many African countries, okay? What's unusual or what we don't usually see is in so many other countries simultaneously, et cetera, which is probably one of the reasons why this is getting a lot of traction right now, appropriately so, okay? Monkeypox is caused by the monkeypox virus. Remember, this is a virus, okay? So when we have diseases, they're caused by viruses, or they're caused by parasites, or they're caused by bacteria, they're caused by protozoa, they're caused by, spirochetes, you name it, but this is caused by a virus, okay? And basically, if you hear the word pox, you're probably like, hey, is there a connection here? And it actually, monkeypox does belong to the family of diseases that includes smallpox, okay? It's considered to be sort of a milder version of smallpox. So once again, it tends to be seen in African countries, all right? But then in people who are out of Africa, it tends to be seen in those who have traveled or are travelers, okay? Once again, I want to stress that this is not an airborne disease like COVID is. COVID is spread through the air as one way that it's spread. This is not airborne. But we're going to go more into that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the symptoms. And I want to show you some photos that I know you've probably seen like online. These are photos that you might have seen of the condition. You guys take a look at this. You see these sort of blisters on the hands of this person. Looks like there. And then also, if you look down here, looks like there are 2 hands with these sort of scabbed over blisters. Monkeypox causes a number of symptoms, including skin lesions, like a rash, that actually sort of goes through different stages. Like here you can see blisters almost like with a white pus fluid, but here this is presumably someone different. These lesions look kind of scabbed over. Okay. So that's important to keep in mind. So this is the thing, but it doesn't just cause a rash like that. So symptoms of monkeypox include things like fever, headache, muscle aches, exhaustion that comes first. And people can also get what we call lymph node swelling. So lymphadenopathy is lymph node swelling. Lymph nodes help create sort of stuff and put out substances that help fight off disease, but you can get swelling in the lymph nodes. Okay. This is the thing, from the time from the infection to symptoms is probably on average 7 to 14 days, but that time can be anywhere as long as 5 to 21 days. So remember, just because you get infected on day 0 doesn't mean that's the day you also get symptoms. We call that sort of like an incubation period, the time from when you get infected to the time that the symptoms actually take to come up. And that's one of the reasons, like with COVID, we've often talked about, why sometimes there are false negatives with COVID tests, right? And things like that, because sometimes it can take a little while for there to be enough viral particles, et cetera, symptoms to come up and test to pick up the disease. But anyway, I digress. So, and then after these initial symptoms, okay, right? So the first symptoms that one gets, the fever, headache, muscle aches, exhaustion, lymph node swelling, things like that. Then 1 to 3 days after that, people tend to get the rash. That rash is what is really characteristic. I know you guys have seen the rashes all over social media, all over the news. It does look uncomfortable, and it can kind of be in a localized place, like just your face, or even just the genitals, or just one part of the body, or it can be literally all over. Okay. This is the thing. The illness can last from anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, which in my opinion is not necessarily that short. But according to sources, symptoms tend to be mild. Perhaps I'm going to throw in moderate just to cover a little bit, and often tend to improve on their own. So let's talk about how it's transmitted, because I know you guys are wondering about this, and many of you guys are writing in right now. I can see you guys writing in. You're like, hey, we have this case in Massachusetts. Hey, we have this case, here or there. There is that case in Massachusetts that has been discovered, and actually, let me just see, Massachusetts, May 18th. That was found in a man who had recently traveled to Canada. So yes, once again, the traveler situation, right? Okay. So now this is the thing. How is it transmitted? Okay. It is not transmitted it's not airborne like COVID, but it is transmitted through respiratory droplets. And science tells us that you kind of need prolonged face-to-face contact. Okay. So kind of in the presence of someone, respiratory droplets are the droplets that come out of our nose, our mouth. When we talk, we kind of spew droplets out, right? And being in a prolonged sort of contact with somebody who has monkeypox increases certainly your risk of getting it, because it can be spread through these sort of respiratory droplets. Also, though, you can get it via direct contact with somebody's bodily fluids or with the actual lesions, okay? So coming in contact with the lesions can cause it to spread as well, which is why, you want to be very thoughtful about the people that you're around, or like if you see something funny on somebody, I mean, I'm not asking you to be rude or whatever, but you do want to be thoughtful and say, hey, is everything okay? I notice this. You want to protect yourself. And I guess especially in this day and age of COVID and so many other things, just be very thoughtful. If someone looks like they've got some things on them, you probably want to know what that is before you come in contact with it. And it's so interesting. I don't know that I ever would have really said that before like that, because in some ways it sounds, I don't know, rude or whatever. But let's just be real. There are a number of conditions, and especially with COVID and stuff like that, I don't know. I just feel like I don't think anybody would blame you for being extra thoughtful and cautious and careful at the same time that you're asking that person, are you okay, right? Like, are you doing all right? Okay, many of you guys are asking if there's a treatment or if there's a cure. So first of all, there is a vaccine against it, which is a good thing, okay? It's not a vaccine that we use widespread, meaning we don't vaccinate everybody for monkeypox, but it's available. And if I read correctly, I believe like in Boston and Massachusetts, where this contact was found, I believe that they are vaccinating the people, the healthcare providers that might have come in contact with this individual. Again, this is changing, evolving information. It probably will evolve and change further, okay? There is, according to the CDC, no proven and safe treatment for it, but it's one of those conditions that we, that you sort of treat what we call supportively. You help someone get through many of the symptoms that they have, okay? And so that's what we do. Once again, for many people, it tends to be mild to moderate and they tend to recover. Yes, in Africa, it's reported that perhaps 1 in 10, it may be fatal for. But remember, this condition is not as transmissible and contagious as COVID, which is important to know. It's also important to know that we've had outbreaks of this before. We've seen outbreaks of this before outside of Africa. This is something that I don't want you guys to be like panicked and terrified of. I want you to be knowledgeable of, and I want us to know what's happening in this country and to be knowledgeable about where you're traveling. And if you notice things on people, let's just be honest, okay? And let me also talk about the sexually transmitted thing, because it's popping up in the news like, is this a sexually transmitted disease, blah, blah, blah. So this is the thing. This disease is not considered to be a sexually transmitted disease, but because you can get it from touching somebody with the lesions or with bodily fluids, etc., it can be transmitted during sexual contact, okay? It's another reason why we should be vigilant and diligent just in what we're doing anyway. This is just smart, okay? I know many of you guys are writing in and you're saying, what next? What's going on? Like, this is crazy. From COVID to everything else that's happening in the world right now to this, I know it feels like a little bit of the apocalypse or a apocalypse, and I get you. I know it almost feels like, are you freaking kidding me? I remember seeing the headlines a few days ago and being like, you gotta be kidding me. But I'm not. But I don't think that you should panic. I just think that you should stay informed. I'm going to do my best to keep you informed as well, okay? So guys, I really hope this is helpful. Let me just check one thing. And by the way, while I'm, how many of you, I want you to write, I'm trying to launch a poll here. I'm trying to test this feature of Facebook. So while I'm trying to find this, I want you to actually let me know in the comments, how many of you, does this scare you? Does it not scare you? Tell me how you feel about this. Write in the comments while I'm literally trying to figure this out, and thank you for, I'm trying to find this thing, but I am not. Okay, I'm just looking through so how many of you are worried, scared? Let's see here. Let's try this one. Live video. Nope, I can't find it. Well, let me take a screenshot. If I take a screenshot, will you guys go away? Hope not. Okay, you didn't go away. So anyway, I couldn't find it, but yeah, how many of you, good. So I see some of you are saying it scares you. Some of you are saying it does not scare you. Some of you are saying I'm nervous. What I think we need to do is watch to see how things unfold, okay? I'll keep you updated. Remember, we do have a vaccine against this, although it's not used widespread. We just want to be very thoughtful. The good thing is, it seems as though for people who have this condition and for those with the rash that exists on parts of the body that are visible, it's a pretty characteristic rash. This rash seems like something that you would not forget, right? The pictures I showed you and the ones that you're seeing online. So you want to just sort of be thoughtful about that. And I know, guys, there's a lot of information out there. I know you're overwhelmed. It's okay. Just take it one day at a time. I'll keep updating you up on monkeypox as we get more information, as the CDC and World Health Organization report on it more. But this is some information to get you guys started. It's going to be all right. Okay. We're going to be okay. We're going to get through this as well. All right. And so guys, I hope you're well. Write your questions in the comments in the next few days as this evolves. I will try to answer your questions about this and keep you updated. For those of you who have not liked my page and followed it, I invite you to do so. I do daily videos and occasionally lives, sometimes more than others. And thank you guys for the stars. You guys are amazing. I see you out there. I'll respond to you personally. You guys are awesome. Okay. And I hope I am comforting. It's not to diminish the importance of this, but it's to try to make sure that we put this all in perspective. Okay. So look after yourselves, your family, and the people you love, and we'll get through this one day at a time. All right, guys. All right. I love you. Bye.